everybody, welcome back to Making It Up. I'm Isa, and today we are talking about one of my favorite things ever, Pat Mcgrath eyeshadows. So I've had a lot of conversations with my friends, with my followers about Pat Mcgrath eyeshadows. They're not just something you can go out and buy, it's more of an investment. And the conversations are always centered around, do you think they're worth it for the price? Are they great quality? Can I expect what I pay for? You guys know I love Pat Mcgrath eyeshadows, but today I just thought I would break them down, let you guys know every single thing about them, the formula, packaging, etc., so that you guys can make a more informed decision if you're actually wanting to pick a Pat Mcgrath eyeshadow palette up, and so you guys can figure if it's worth it or not. If you're curious to learn more about Pat Mcgrath palettes, Pat Mcgrath eyeshadows, then let's get into it. So let me just preface this video by saying I personally love Pat Mcgrath eyeshadows. They're in my top 3 favorites. I think they're amazing. I have 3 Pat Mcgrath eyeshadow palettes. So I have 2 of these smaller ones right here. I have the Mothership Subversive La Vie en Rose eye palette and the Mothership Sublime Bronze Temptation eyeshadow palette. I believe both of these you can no longer get. This one was my first one. It was a gift from my parents for Christmas, and it has been through everything. I've dropped it, pressed it back in. I've done a lot with this palette, and it's a pretty basic palette, and I really love it. This one is newer for me. It has really bold, weird colors. I've barely ever used this one, but I bought it because it was on super sale. I think when they were discontinuing it, it was like $25, and I couldn't pass it up because Pat Mcgrath eyeshadows are expensive, and if I had the chance to buy a palette that was less expensive, then I was definitely gonna go ahead and do it. And the other one that I have that you can still actually purchase today is the Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey Artistry palette, which I've talked about so much in my past few videos. It looks like this. It was their holiday palette, and it's super pretty. The pans are smaller, they're way smaller. They have super big pans for their regular Mothership palettes. These are slightly smaller than those, but bigger than the Celestial Odyssey palette. But this is by far the most affordable one. I think this is $78, and I actually got this during the VIB sale, so I got it at a discount. These are the smallest pans, but you still get, a ton of colors, and you're never gonna go through one single eyeshadow, especially if you're me and you have so many palettes. So this is the last one that I have. I truly love my collection, to be honest with you. I mostly use the neutrals, but I also have some really high quality, colorful shadows for when I wanna go a little crazy with my makeup. And the reason that I love Pat Mcgrath palettes the most is because of the formula. The formula is really stellar. Let me tell you guys, it doesn't matter if they're matte or if they're shimmery, metallic, whatever, the formula is super consistent. I find that it's been very consistent from the very beginning, from the first palette that I got a few years ago to now. The formula seems to be improving, but it's always been really high quality. The mattes are super buttery and they blend like a dream. The shimmers and metallic ones are also very buttery and they look super foily on the eyes. The ones that have the most shimmer definitely do have more fallout. I don't love fallout, but it's just a side effect of having something be so intense. So I'm willing to overlook that because they are so pretty, but they do blend very well. Wear time is great. They don't crease as much as other eyeshadows that I've tried to. I obviously use a primer because I always use an eye primer, but if you were to not use an eye primer, these still hold up really well, so that's another plus. Depending on how much product you pick up with your brush, you're gonna get a different result every time. These are pretty pigmented eyeshadows, so you can just grab a little bit and a little will go a long way, which is great because you don't want to be, using up your expensive eyeshadows so quickly. But it truly is amazing. You just pick up a bit and you can build up the intensity. Of course, if you want to sheer it out, you can pick up less product, work it in really well. And if you want to intensify it, these layer really well. They're not patchy at all. And the shimmers, you can do exactly the same thing. You can just grab a little bit. I think they perform best with your finger because the warmth of your finger kind of melts them into your eye. You can pick up the slightest bit and just wash it across your lids, or you can really pack it on and intensify it. You don't really need a Fix Plus or anything to make them more intense, but you could obviously go for something like that. I just don't find the need to do so. So yeah, they're intense eyeshadows. They can be a little intimidating, I think. If you're a beginner, I would recommend these more for intermediate advanced makeup wearers, someone who already knows their way around eyeshadow and what they like. I don't think they're tricky to use. I mean, they blend really well and really easily, but they're more on the intense side, so you kind of need to already know what look you're going for, or at least just know how to use eyeshadow properly. That being said, these are also very forgiving if you mess up. They're easy to remove. They're easy, again, to just blend out. If you F up somewhere, you can just go in with a little bit of like face powder and blend that out, and it looks like nothing happened. So, you know, they're user-friendly still, but they can be slightly intense. One of my favorite things about these is how they look on the eyes. Like, I'm just wearing 2 shades right now, and I think they make me look so pretty. And that's all you want from your makeup, right? You want something that makes you look pretty, makes you feel pretty, and these eyeshadows definitely do that. And because they're more luxe, they're definitely an experience for me, and I really love using them because I know I'm gonna get consistent results time and time again. So the formula is definitely a 10 out of 10. Now into some other things about the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. Now, depending on the palette or the quad that you choose, you're gonna get different colors, you're gonna get different pan sizes. So there's definitely something for everyone. If you love color, you can get something more colorful. If you love neutrals, you can definitely go for something more neutral. There really is a lot to pick from. I find just the most unique eyeshadows in the Pat McGrath palettes. Like, there's always one eyeshadow that I'm like, I've never seen this anywhere else, and I don't have it in my collection, which is something super important because I definitely collect makeup and I have a ton of palettes, and I don't see a lot of these shades in my palettes, which is great because I don't want to be buying the same palettes over and over again. So that is definitely a perk. These palettes are always unique. And as well, depending on the palette, you'll be able to create a variety of looks. If you have something that's slightly smaller and like super colorful like this one, you're obviously going to be going for the color. But if you have something like the Celestial Odyssey palette, then you can definitely go super subdued. You can go super dramatic. There's a lot you can do depending on the palette that you get and the shades that you use constantly. One other thing I love is the packaging. Like, I felt the packaging of the regular Mothership palettes, and that's more of a plastic, like a black plastic. You guys know which one I'm talking about, and that feels a little more luxe. The ones that I have are cardboard because they're slightly different, but they don't feel cheaply made even though they're cardboard. They're very sturdy, and I love the art across all of these. It's just so pretty art. And I've traveled with these and they haven't broken on me, thank God, because I would have died. So the packaging is also very travel friendly, which, you know, I'm glad because I travel quite a lot and I like to bring my favorite shadows with me when I travel. So honestly, all in all, the packaging, depending again on what you get, you'll get slightly different packaging, but all the packaging looks beautiful and feels very sturdy and protective for your eyeshadows. In conclusion, I think these eyeshadow palettes are 100% worth it. The quality is there. These perform amazingly no matter which shade or which finish you choose to use. So I say that if you have the means and you've been wanting to buy one of these for a while, then definitely go ahead and do so. You will not regret it. If you don't have the means, then you definitely don't need to go out and buy these. You can use your money for something that you actually need. There are other good quality shadows that you can find for a lot more affordable. But if you eventually want to, you know, save up and buy one of the Pat McGrath palettes, and I definitely recommend you wait for a sale. Either like a Sephora VIB sale, or Pat McGrath does a few sales a year directly on their website, so I would definitely wait for that. But yeah, these shadows are definitely worth the investment. They're worth the money. I know we don't like to hear that because maybe if there's a little flaw here and there, we can justify and be like, no, it's too much money for something that's not perfect. But these are truly creme de la creme eyeshadows. I love them, and I could not picture my life without them. They're staying in my collection forever because they were a hefty investment, but I love them, and I do not regret buying these. And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up today's video. Let me know what you think of Pat McGrath eyeshadows, if you've tried them, which palettes you have, and if you want to try them but you haven't, let me know why. I really hope this video was helpful. My brain's a little all over the place, but I tried to give you as much information as possible about the formula, about how these perform, about packaging, about everything. So please let me know if, again, there's something that I missed that you still need more information on. I'm definitely here to help. That's the aim of this video, so I hope I was able to do so. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Again, hope you learned something new, and I will hopefully see you back here next week. Bye, everyone. Mwah.